Hello, my name's Simon Foster. If my voice sounds a bit hoarse, I'm sorry, I've got a cold. Welcome to the course. Thank you very much for buying it. My kids will eat tonight. Okay, I'm just putting the finishing touches on this tutorial. This is one of the later tutorials in the series. It's all about developing a portrait, and it's part of the workflow section of this course. That is the point. This course came about because someone came on the Affinity forums about towards the end of last year, and they were complaining about how there were plenty of tutorials out there which tell you how to use a particular tool, but there were very few tutorials out there which actually tell you about the workflow. And I thought, you know what, this guy's got a good point. And so I contacted him, we had a quick conversation via email, and then a couple of months later I brought out the Affinity Photo Developing Landscapes course where I concentrated upon the workflow. He seemed very happy with it. He left a nice review. Thank you very much. If I'm talking to you right now, thank you very much. That conversation we had, that was great. And that's why this course is happening. And so then I thought to myself, well, if I've done a course all about developing landscapes and the workflow involved with that, why not do an entire course devoted to workflow? So you can see how you can take a picture from start to finish and the various tools you use in between, what order you use them in, why you would use any one particular tool, any problems involved with it. This is the stuff that makes a picture. It's not just the tools, it's how you use them. Now that's all very well and good, but there is a problem with that approach. Namely, if I'm trying to explain to you how to develop a portrait, for example, what happens when I'm explaining to you how to use, say, the curves tool? Do I explain all the finer points of the curve tool in the middle of the video? It's going to end up very long-winded and very confusing if I'm trying to explain all the tools while I'm trying to show you the workflow. So the answer to that, there's two sections. There's a reference section and there's a workflow section. I recommend you start off with the workflow videos. There's a number of different workflows there. There's the 5-step approach, there's the problem-solving approach, and various other approaches as we go through the course. But there's also the reference section. And if you're going through the workflow and you get a bit confused, take a look at the reference section. Every tool I use in the workflow videos has a reference video about it in the reference section. So you can tackle the problem from both ends, the workflow and the reference. Okay, just before you dive into the videos, I've got a workflow tip for you, all right? Get a piece of paper, and as we go through the course, you're going to be learning various different shortcuts. Like, for example, on here, if I come to, say, the brush tool, well, the shortcut key for that is B. I press it, there's my brush tool. Supposing I want the crop tool, the shortcut for that is C, and there's my crop tool ready to go. You have to try and remember what these shortcuts are because they will greatly increase your productivity. But it's not easy, so what do? Well, I just said, the brush tool is B, so I write down B equals brush tool, and also, what was it? C for crop? Okay, well, C equals crop tool. I take my piece of paper, a couple of bits of sticky tape, and I stick it to the side of my screen. That way, whenever I want to know the keyboard shortcut, it's right there. Do yourself a favor, once you have learned the keyboard shortcut, cross it out. It gives you less to look at. Also, people tend to remember things in a certain order. Like, for example, I told you that B is the brush tool. That's probably the first command you learned. And when you start going through your encyclopedia in your mind of the various different shortcuts, you'll probably remember the brush tool as being towards the beginning. So you're writing down from top down to bottom. So the earlier tips are going to be at the top, and the later tips are going to be towards the bottom. That will give you a little clue on where to look on your piece of paper. Now, I've given that tip before on other tutorial collections, but here's one I haven't. Because look, I get it. I learn new programs myself as often as I can. And the problem I always find, and you may find the same thing yourself, is you look at the screen and you think, well, somewhere around there, there's, say, an adjustment panel. Now, where was it? And I'm searching around the screen, I can't remember where it is. It gets very frustrating. As it is, the adjustment panel is right here, and you get various adjustments. We will be talking about those. But the problem is I can never remember where it is on the screen. So this is my other piece of paper. Right, let's count this. If I look at my Affinity Photo screen, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to divide the width of it into 10 sections. I'll do the same thing with the height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I want to know where the adjustment panel is, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 9/10 across and 8/10 up. So I write down adjustment panel, and I try and read my own terrible handwriting, and I do equals 9,8. And because it's my code, I know that means for my adjustment panel, when I want to find it, I just go, right, adjustment panel, where is it? 9,8, there. This will greatly increase your screen navigational capabilities, all right? Okay, I just want to answer two of the most common questions I get asked on various other courses. And the first question is, well, where do I download my resources from? The various different files that you use in your videos. That is straightforward enough. You're looking at Chrome on my PC. This also works on the Mac. And if you just wiggle your mouse around, look, here it says resources available. Even if you don't get that, you see this little icon at the top. It's like 3 lines with 3 little dots there. Click on that. You get this panel popping out, and look, there are the various different files that you can download. Sometimes the icon might be in a different place. It might be down in the bottom right. Incidentally, you have this thing here, captions. They're auto-generated. If you want to turn them off, you would turn them off down here in the bottom right. And the other thing to say as well is that some people who use, say, the iPad, for example, and they use Safari, there has been a problem in the past with downloading resources. Udemy is aware of that. I believe they're working on a fix for it. And the other question I sometimes get asked is, I don't have a good internet connection. Can I download all of the courses to view offline? And unfortunately, my answer to that has to be, if I was to do that, the entire course would be downloaded and sold on as pirate copies. And if that happens, I may as well just give up and do something else. And I think it is a pity that the majority of perfectly nice and honest people have to have life a little bit more inconvenient because of the actions of a few. So in short, the answer is, for security reasons, the majority of the videos are available to view online and online only. Okay, I think we are ready to go on to the next video. I will see you there.